Hello YouTube and welcome back to a very excited old Flads. This is LEGO Lord of the Rings. And this game has been out for a while. Well, I say a while, it's been out for years now. And I didn't actually know it existed until I saw it on the Arcade Hub sort of LEGO week that they're doing at the moment, and I immediately fell in love. Let me just give you a quick background before we get into this, and I should also explain that I was going to do a face cam, but there is a lot of narrative. With that in mind, I will be going through this as quickly as possible, so I won't be attempting many of the side quests. With that sort of being said, I will try and do as much as interesting stuff as possible, but the purpose of this actual gameplay is simply going to be to let you enjoy the story of the Lord of the Rings through a slightly skewed monocle, if you like, of the LEGO background, which is just fantastic. It has some amazing humour. So the background, I have had a pretty sheltered life when it comes to fantasy. I spent my entire childhood playing football. When I got up to the sort of age of 16, 17, started working, didn't really have much time for fantasy then. I was still read, but I tended to go for more war stories, Annie McNab and that sort of thing. Brother 2-0 being my favourite. Then I got to the age of about 20, and by this point I'd had my first child, Harry, as you've all met him already. From there I started reading different types of books, and that is where, in the garage of my father-in-law, I found the entire Lord of the Rings set. And it pretty much changed my viewpoint towards fantasy and how it is as a genre of book, and how it can be as almost a lifestyle for people as well. I loved the Lord of the Rings, all three books. I then watched the films. I loved the films. I love everything about it. I love the way it's set. I love the wording in the books. And if you haven't read the books or haven't seen the films, then this should give you a nice little intro into the Lord of the Rings, and just what an amazingly insightful and deep and wonderful world it is. So without further ado, we are going to get on with this. There is lots of narrative, so if I go quiet, don't think that I've sort of just fallen asleep or anything. I enjoy this as much as hopefully you will as well. So let's get going with it. This is LEGO The Lord of the Rings.
It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men, who above all else desire power. For within these rings was bound the strength and will to govern each race. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring to control all others. 1 ring to rule them all. But there were some who resisted. A last alliance of men and elves marched against the armies of Mordor, and on the slopes of Mount Doom, they fought for the freedom of Middle-earth.
Okay, so here we go. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea, this is actually set several hundred years before the Lord of the Rings, and it gives you a backstory as to the actual Ring of Power, which is the main ring that Sauron had created to try and give himself power over everything, essentially. Now, the first thing I've got to do here, this is like a little tutorial thing, and we've got to take out the flag bearers of Sauron's orc army. And we also get to look at the combat in its initial states as well, of which it is fairly basic. And bear in mind, this is pretty much designed for children. Okay, so you shouldn't expect overly complex mechanics, that's for certain. Oh my god, I don't want to get in the horde. But as you can see, you can. Oh, I shouldn't have attacked Elrond there. I don't actually. That's not Elrond. Elrond's is the elf. You see the horde here. Now this is one thing that I really wanted to see and wondered if it could in fact pull off, is the scale of the battles. And we'll be coming up to a part of this called Helm's Deep, which actually happens in the second book, which is the Twin Towers. And I cannot wait to see that. I really cannot. So we're just going to take out this last. We've got 2 more flag bearers to go, and then we'll be out of this initial sort of stage, and then we're going to have to take on the mighty Sauron as well. Like I said, this is all part of the same book. This gives you an idea as to where the ring came from, the battle between men and good and evil. It's a very prominent thing. And now we're in trouble. So his initial minions have come out. Let's go to let's press Y, and we shall select Elendil. Elendil holds the badass sword. Oh, hold on. Let's get Elendil out. Elrond. Ooh, there's a little bit of a stutter there. Isildur, that's his son. That's Elrond. That's Elendil's son. Okay, so now we have Elendil at long last. Now his badass sword plays a huge part within the entire story of the Lord of the Rings. So you have to keep an eye out for that. We've just got to take down these 3 towers. These are like the towers of Mordor, I think he calls them. And once we've taken these guys out, we will be making our way nicely through the prologue. It is just an amazing story, and all these, like we sort of saw a minute ago, I can move into that horde. It's not a very good idea to move into the horde, of course, because you end up trying to fight loads, as you can see. But since these are the 3 main characters, they are the most important. That's Elrond, he's leader of the elves.
But the power of the ring could not be undone.
Here is... Oh, we're going to do a quick save. Let's just say a bit of the tutorial. This is Sauron, and he is a badass. He's the guy that forged the main ring of power. And he kept it for himself, and we've got to try and defeat him. And you may think, well, why are we defeating the boss early? Like I said, bear in mind, this is the initial prologue to the entire story, so it's just giving us some back history. Now what we have to wait here and do is for that. We need to wait for that, and then we need to take him out. Am I Isildur again? Come on, Elendil. That's better. Only his sword can take him out. But we have to take out his staff initially. Oh, come on. And avoid this. It has got a pretty serious kick, that thing he's got there. Fire is damaging. And hopefully you're going to find this all interesting, and just take it for what it is being. It is very beautiful, and that's something that I sort of half expected, but I didn't expect it to be quite as great as it looks. And when I was saying about combat being a little bit sort of sluggish, it isn't. It's basic. It's not sluggish. It's actually quite beautiful and very smooth as it goes. So we've given him one more. We've got one more before we're going to take that out. You can see Elrond and Isildur are helping as well. Run away. In fact, I think we've got to entice him, and then he'll deliver the blow that gets his staff stuck. We don't want to take too many hits off the fire, that's for certain. Get rid of these little minions. Oh. Come on, deliver the blow into the floor. Oh, nearly. Let's try and antagonise him a little bit. Don't want to get hit too many more times. Now, they have replaced lots of the books, so when we go through the story, we are going to see that It is in fact... Here we go. Let's attack this. Let's be the one that breaks it. Boom. There we go.
It was in this moment that Isildur, son of the king, took up his father's sword. Sauron, the enemy of the free peoples of Middle-earth, was defeated. The ring passed to Isildur, who had this one chance to destroy evil forever.
Isildur, hurry! Follow me.
Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit more of a look at the platforming side of it. It's all still part of the same prologue. Isildur now has the Ring of Power. Save quickly. And we are going to head up to Mount Doom, which is where it was initially forged. Oh, over here. And we're going to cast this into the fires and melt it, because that's the only way to destroy it. Sort of take it back to where it was initially made. Let's just get rid of these little towers. Now this, like I said, is a bit of a... It's both a prologue and a training mission. So we're going to be going through... Oh crap, I fell in the lava. Don't want to do that. We are going to be doing a few things that may seem a little bit sort of scripted. And, well, that's because they are scripted. It's all scripted, it follows a book. But you know what I mean, they're going to be things that are less obvious than you would expect to or hope to see. Oh, don't go in that fire, because that is really dangerous. Now, there are little bits and pieces that are dotted around that I can't reach at the moment. But I'm not going to give any spoilers away about the story, so we'll just leave that for now. There's lots of scripted events within this, and that's basically to keep the action going for what I'm guessing for younger people. Now, fortunately for you guys, I have actually played a little bit of this because even though this is probably meant for ages, I don't know, 3 and up perhaps, because it's Lego, I may have got stuck on a few things. It's not that I'd ever admit that, of course, but. Oh, I just did. But yeah, I got stuck on a few things, so just bear that in mind. That I have been through this first bit. We got up to meeting the elves, but like I said, I don't want to go into details about the story. The story is brilliant. I want you all guys to just enjoy it. Let's get rid of these, move on, and now we're coming up to towards the last, but yeah, we're up to the main gates, to the sort of main room where the forging was done initially. Fight a few more orcs. Take out the statue around the side. Get rid of that bloody thing. And take out 2 of the little statues of Sauron. And head up to the main door. I think we just have to bash our way through, do we? Oh god, I've forgotten. I only did this recently. Let's take out this main dude. There is quite a lot of button bashing. There is pretty much only one level of attack. You do get to use different weapons though, and they'll do different things throughout the world as and when they're prompted for. So it's, like I said, it's very simple. This is more about enjoying the story for what it is. And now we're heading to where the ring itself was forged. One last little horde of people to take out. And look at that for a setting. That it looks incredible.
Cast it into the fire! Destroy it! No. Isildur!
But the hearts of men are easily corrupted, and the Ring of Power has a will of its own. It betrayed Isildur to his death. And some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. For 2,500 years, the ring passed out of all knowledge. Until... the ring came to the creature Gollum, who took it deep into the tunnels of the Misty Mountains. For 500 years it poisoned his mind. But something happened then the ring did not intend. It was picked up by the most unlikely creature imaginable.
What's this?
A hobbit, Bilbo Baggins of the Shire.
A ring.
And there we go, that is the entry to the Lord of the Rings, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's a nice fun little game. I could sit and watch this, I could sit and watch the cinematics all the way through for hours. The whole story is so gripping to me. Let me know in the comments what you think about the story, and if you are a fan of the Lord of the Rings. If so, then hopefully you're going to enjoy it, and if you're brand new to the Lord of the Rings, then you really are going to be in for a treat as this progresses, because it's just an amazing twists and turns and different creatures and a huge world to explore. So anyway, thank you very much. I know it's been a long episode, but like I said, I hope you enjoy it, and I shall look forward to showing you the rest of this in the future. I've been old Flads. Cheers and goodbye. This is the best first-person shooter available across any platform in the world right now. There you go, I said it, and I'm pretty sold on this idea that you're going to have to come up with something pretty impressive to sway me that this is not the best game available in the first-person shooter genre at the moment.